Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. It is Saturday, favorite time of the week, and it is time for your Saturday morning dose of No Guts, No Stories. So, as you're coming in, drop in the comments, let me know where you're tuning in from. So many of you from all over the world, a lot of different time zones. But for those of you that don't know, my name is Barb Pitcock, and I have a book, No Guts, No Story, which was a story that ended in 2001. So it's definitely time, as Paul Harvey would say, for the rest of the story. Some of you are like, who's Paul Harvey? I don't know who that is. But it has been many, many years. In fact, 20 straight years of every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., me showing up, pouring into you, not charging you for coaching. I have no hidden agenda. You're not going to get on a drip list where I'm going to try to sell you something. My need, and some of you know your needs, some of you don't, is contribution. And with everything that I've been through in my life, the one thing that just lights me up is knowing that I could share a story with you and share a situation that I've been in and how I overcame that situation, or a roadblock, or a mountain, if you will, and how I moved that mountain. And it's never been me. I will give all the glory to God, but I am so committed to just creating impact, making a difference, sewing into people, and hoping that when you leave this live stream, by the end of this live stream, you're going to feel better than you do right now. So, who's down for that? Who wants to feel better? Who wants to feel good? Who wants to be happy and feel loved and valued and have hope and a vision and maybe even a skill set or a map from where they're at, exact directions to get from where they're at to where they want to be. And today, I'm going to reveal to you the secret of why you are where you are and how to get from where you're at to where you want to be. So, who's down for that? If you want to make moves, drop in the comments, make moves. And if you know somebody who's like you, maybe you've been in a conversation yesterday or this morning or last week. How many of you have been in conversation with someone that's just stuck and you want to help them, but you have no idea how to help them? If I tagged them all, there would be 50 people, because every day, whether it's in my family, whether it's in a salon, whether it's in the grocery store, or I run into someone that's even coming to work for me, every single one of them has roadblocks in front of them. They have 1,000 reasons why it won't work. They also have reasons why it would work. Everybody has a story. If you were to watch what happens when a plane goes down, you would think that when a plane crash happens, the very first thing they would do is try to find all the passengers, all the rescue teams. But actually, what they do, believe it or not, the very first thing they look for is the little black box. How many of you know about the little black box? And I actually have a little black box sitting here. So I'm going to use this as my example. On that plane, there is a little black box. And that little black box shows where the plane came from, where it originated from, where it was going, all the details of the conditions around it when it was in flight, and the very exact details of when it went down, where it went down, and how it went down. And a lot of us are carrying around a little black box of where we came from, but we're trying to get in flight to where we want to be. Now, where we came from, where this all originated, has absolutely nothing to do with your future if you decide that. But most of us are replaying in our subconscious over and over and over again all the things that are in this little black box. And let me give you some examples of that. And this is why you self-sabotage. You know where you want to be. I wanted to be $1 million earner. I wanted to have 3 kids, have a husband that loved me. I actually wanted 5, but 3 and 4 years, Dave was like, get that off the fridge, because everything we write down happens. And it's the laws of the universe, guys. Every thought is a prayer. Every prayer is answered. What you look at, what you visualize, what you see and repeat, every single day becomes your reality. So there's a common denominator in every chapter of my life, whether it was good or whether it was bad. I honestly think nothing is bad. It's our thinking that makes it so, because there has to be ebb and flow. There has to be contrast to know what you don't want, to know what doesn't feel good, to know how you're not going to be treated, to realize how you don't deserve to be loved or acted around or spoken to. And I'm saying this because I was in a really dark spot in many of the valleys of my 54-year timeline. And in the dark spots, I was always reaching to God, praying for a miracle to come along. But if I'm reaching to God, praying for a miracle, but I'm holding on to what used to be, and I'm afraid to let go of that identity, I sabotage every good thing that comes to me. I come right back down to the same narrative. I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. I'm a little freckle-faced redhead kid. I'm ugly. Everyone else is pretty. I'm a C student at best. Everyone else is an A student. I'm from a broken home. They have two parents. We did the church hop to several different churches. They were committed Catholics or perfect this or that. Like, I could compare myself all the time. Well, what would happen is I would value myself less than, and I would get exactly that. And the value you bring to the marketplace is what you get paid. The value you bring to your community is the respect that you're going to gain. The wisdom comes from the mistakes. And I have so much wisdom because I've made so many mistakes. And I would love to mentor you. I would love to coach you. I would love to share with you what I did multiple times, not knowing I was self-sabotaging every single time things got good. And eventually, I got tired of losing everything. Eventually, I got tired of starting over. Eventually, I quit playing the blame game, that I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for them and what they did. And this wasn't fair and that wasn't fair. And you told me this and you treated me like that and you hit me and you cheated on me and you left me and you abandoned me. Like, I could say all the things, or I could practice forgiveness. And this is going to be the hardest part of this call for most of you. True forgiveness is accepting that the past could not have been any different than it is, and every single bit of it was for you, not against you. Dang, that is hard. How many of you would say that is hard? Let's repeat that. True forgiveness is me accepting that the past could not have been any different. The past could not have been any different. It was actually for me, not against me. It created my story. It created the strength. It created the capacity to withstand so much trauma. It also created the strength to not react, to not send that text, to not quit that team, to not fire that person, to not go all over social media and do whatever. It taught me compassion. See, somebody who's truly been through some real SHIT, I'm just going to say it, they have compassion. It's not about them ever again. When you've really been through it and God humbles those people, oh my gosh, humble yourself or God's going to humble you. Let me just save you the pain. Humble yourself or God is going to humble you. And he'll do it in front of everyone. There were times I became boastful. There were times I talked about my success. There were times that I thought I had arrived. And the minute I thought I had arrived, I was on the way down. Not just down, but down, down, down. And I got tired of having to learn that lesson. Now, I don't care how you live your life. And I will never tell you that I'm right and you're wrong. I don't have to be right. One big lesson I learned, you can always be right or you can be rich, but you will never be both. You burn bridges, you sever relationships, you sabotage success, you offend people, you hurt people, and they feel a certain way. Like if you've made a mistake, I want you right now, if you have made a mistake and you're being stubborn, I want you to send a text right now that says, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Maybe you do have some merit. Maybe you are right. I don't want to argue with you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. The minute that you do that in Hawaii, this is a thing. Where's all my Hawaiians? And tell me what you guys call it. It's a long word and I always mess it up. But it's a practice that they do because of the energy. See, you don't forgive people because they deserve to be forgiven. You forgive them for yourself. When I forgive the people who have hurt me, slandered me, sued me, stole from me, made TikToks about me, or YouTube videos about me, or mailed mass media about me, or talked to people and said degrading things about me. When I forgive them, it doesn't mean that they deserve to be forgiven. But I can't hold on to that resentment or blame or jealousy or wishing or giving that any value, because when I do, it's self-sabotage. Because what you feel, a certain way that you feel, stops the success. Forgiveness is everything. And there are some things that people get in their head, and it's like a cocklebur in a golden retriever. Have you guys ever, we live on 22 acres. So whenever we had a Cocker Spaniel or even a Lab, but a Lab doesn't have long hair like a Cocker Spaniel. There's a lot of cockleburs out here. Some of you don't even know what cockleburs are, but it's a great big round, looks like a porcupine sticker. And when it gets in there, it's in there. You literally about have to shave the dog or cut it out. And so what happens is every time you start to sit well, it's just right there. It's just getting you. And these are subconscious limiting beliefs. Someone tells you you're a horrible leader. And every time you start to lead, you're like, I'm not a very good leader. Remember that one time? Or they say, you're the driest presenter I've ever listened to. Like, you've got to change your presentation. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I would present, but I'm not like so-and-so. Or maybe you're just in your own head. Maybe you're your biggest enemy, because there's only one person that can ever make you feel inferior, and that is you. Now, because of what was in my little black box, I used to literally be afraid that I would never get married. I was literally afraid that I would never have kids. Who would want to have kids with me? Like, imagine how they would turn out. Look at my hair. Look at my skin. Look at my freckles. Look at my big bubbly butt. Like, growing up as a little girl, I had a bubble butt before butts were a thing. I hated my butt. I hated my hair. I hated my skin. I hated my freckles. And people made fun of me. There were so many bullies when I was growing up. Thank God there wasn't social media. I probably would have died, because in person, it was unbearable. I would be afraid to walk up to the tetherball at the playground because somebody would call me. I will never repeat the things they called me. Thank God for the movie Pretty Woman and Julia Roberts, when red hair actually became something that was a thing, or Molly Ringwald, right? The Breakfast Club. Like, before that, redheads were like less than 1%, ugly, albino, like they had this label. And then all of a sudden, when I was like a sophomore, everybody was coloring their hair auburn. And I was like, what is going on? I went from a limiting belief that I'm ugly, no one will ever want me, I will probably never get married, probably never have kids, to everybody wants hair like me. Now, it was always that way, right? It was my thinking that made it so because of something someone said, someone who's probably average at best today. Because people that criticize, people that gossip, and people that tear down other people are average at best, and they will never have long-term success. They might have success because bullies, they attract bullies, and haters, they attract some other haters. And anybody can be an influencer and an expert right now. If you don't believe me, go look at the news. Somehow I got on this KWCH news thing that pops up in my news feed on Facebook, and I have tried to cancel it, block it. I don't know how it keeps popping up, but I hate the news. And I think everyone knows I hate the news. I absolutely hate the news. They make money by posting a headline that is so devastating that you will stop your scroll and you will go read it or listen to it. And then there's targeted ads, right? So this morning I wake up at 4:50 and I am starting my day. How many of you are early morning people? And I am pumped. Like, I am ready for the day. And all of a sudden, I'm reading a story about a guy they had to shoot down and why they had to shoot him down and why he died. And literally, I am such an empath and I am so loving. I'm trying to defend the guy that had the gun. Like, that's how much love I have in my heart. I just can't be around mean people. I will always hear two sides of the story. I will always forgive. I will always be out for the underdog. And I will tell you why. Because who am I to judge? And what must have happened in that person's life for them to have been in an intersection, 10 degrees, 30-mile-an-hour winds, no shirt on, not completely clothed, with a gun in their hand, not listening to officers on a speaker saying, put down the gun. I want you guys to think about that. What must have happened in that guy's little black box? What about his family? What about his kids? Did he have a wife? Was he struggling with addiction? Was someone thinking tough love was the way to fix that disease? Had he talked to his siblings lately? Did someone take away his children, which they should have, probably. Not saying there's right or wrong. But you know what's sad about the news? They create a narrative they actually believe that they're right. And here's what I believe. Every person on planet Earth was created by the Most High God for greatness. They were created for greatness. And somewhere along the way, something got in the little black box. And the mountain that they can't climb, the mountain that is so big, they have no idea how they're ever going to get past it. It's them. The mountain is you. There is a book called The Mountain Is You. It is so good. And I've read it once. Our whole family is reading it again. I'm actually going to send it to all the diamonds in our company, $1 million earners. It doesn't matter what level you get to, there's always going to be a mountain. And normally, the mountain is you. What you have to do if you really want to heal, you have to change the way you think about things that happen to you. I had to change the way I thought about things that had happened to me, people who had done me wrong that I wanted to blame. It wasn't fair. They shouldn't have done what they did, but I had to forgive them. Because in order for me to move forward, I couldn't keep telling the same narrative. Conscious and subconscious. So what happens is I'm consciously trying to go towards a goal, but my subconscious has a certain belief. And subconsciously, I know this is the goal I want. I want a husband, 3 children. a house in the country. I actually loved direct sales when I was a young girl. I was in direct sales when I was 17 years old, dating a guy that was old enough to join just so I could go to the Amway event, right? I didn't just join once, I joined twice because I thought it would make a difference who I joined under. Blaming my upline, blaming where I was, blaming the people above me. That was so toxic. One day I realized I wasn't ugly. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't just a C student at best. I would be loved. I could have kids. I actually could dream about moving to the country. Like, I've been living in the same house for 26 years. It was a dream clear back when I was a high school girl. And it became a reality about 5 years after that. But I had to go through a lot of mountains. And I want you guys to think about this. Where does the grass grow? Where does growth happen? It happens in the cracks. It happens in the crevices. It doesn't happen, nothing's growing at the top of the mountain. There isn't even a tree up there. It's the growth on the journey, not when you reach the top. And sometimes when you're in denial that you're the problem, you want to blame everybody else for your conditions. What you're not changing, you're choosing. If people are treating you bad, you're allowing it. If your income is low, you're choosing that. If you're sick, I'm praying for you. We have all been through it. Heck, I've had things happen. I'm not even going to tell you the procedure that I had Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, but it would have devastated most people. At 11 o'clock, I was on our corporate Zoom. I might not have looked too good, and I might have not been 100% on, but I showed up because I'm not sick. I'm not sick. I'm not less than. I'm not weak. I'm not hurt. I might be for a minute. It might be a chapter, but it's not going to be my lifetime. See, you have a pen and you are writing the script of this movie that is your life, and your life could end tomorrow. It literally could end tomorrow. I had a lot of spiritual warfare this week, a lot. And it's because I'm doing big things. Anytime you're doing big things and God is making moves in your life, your business, your relationship, your children, your health, when you armor up and you're really making moves, say I'm making moves. I know you are. I see you. Get ready. Because the devil doesn't mess with anyone who he already has. He only messes with people who are making moves. Now, the devil is not some guy in a little red suit with horns. It's good and bad. It's contrast. It is actually spiritual warfare. That is my belief. You don't have to be in the boat with me. You can think I'm fat, you know what, crazy. You're entitled. Guess what? You don't have to be right. You can be right or you can be rich. You can't be both. We are all entitled to our own opinion. I'm going to share with you my experience. When I took full accountability for the way that people had treated me, because I allowed it, when I took full accountability for the situation that I was in with my health 4 years ago, when I took full accountability for poor decisions that I made, I used to have to think I always had to be right. That's part of being a redhead. You're hard-headed. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not doing it. You know, I would walk away. In fact, I would run the other direction when it came to abuse, narcissistic, when it came to bullies, when it came to mean people. It cost me millions of dollars. I can blame them because they were mean. I can blame them and say, oh, this person was corrupt. I can blame them and say, why did you do that to me? And it didn't matter if it was a social media frenzy and they were destroying me and my family. I can blame them, but I'm actually grateful for them. Because here's what happens. And I think there's only 5 or 6 mean people in the world. They used to just all follow me around. When you're in alignment with who you are and what you believe is going to happen, you will attract that energy. So if I was around mean people, people that gossiped, every conversation was like, did you see her post? Oh my gosh, who does she think she is? She's an idiot. Can you believe it? Why does she do this? She's not a good mother. She doesn't dress right. She's stupid on her live streams. Why is she selling that product? Why did she join that company? Like, you can look at all the women around you if you're a woman. There is the women who build people up. There's that club. And then there's also the women who tear people down. They can't handle it if another salon is in town and successful. They can't handle it if someone is raising a beautiful family and they're not. They can't handle it if someone's kid is on honor roll and theirs is needing a tutor. They can't handle it if some child is on the right path and theirs is not on the right path. I've been the girl that was not the kid on the right path, not the family that was thriving, not the one that was, having a perfect marriage and all the things. Like, that's life. But that doesn't define you. You're too worried about what other people think. What is your title? What is your income? What is your address? What are you driving? What brand of clothes do you have on? Did you get it posted on Insta? Let me tell you guys something. In this life, we have an audience of one. One. And one day, we're going to have to be accountable. Our life is going to be over. They're all going to go look at the little black box, and they're going to talk about it for one day. And here's what's sad. This is a statistic. If there was a blizzard and the conditions weren't good, and you had lived your entire life and you're 75, 80, 90 years old, and it wasn't easy to get to your funeral, the average person has 7 people in their life that would do anything to be there. And there's absolutely no way they would miss it. You're living your whole life trying to impress all these people that don't care. And the mountain is you. And you're self-sabotaging everything based on being accepted and what people are going to think. And what if you did take a risk and you failed? And at the end of your life, 7 people are going to care. 7, if you're lucky. Here, they might show up, but 7 will cry. That's the statistic. 7 people would actually shed a tear. When I heard that funeral concept, this is statistics. Go look it up. Go look it up. I'm not going to worry about approval of other people. I'm not going to worry about those who judge me. I'm not going to worry about if someone thinks I'm doing it wrong or if I did it right. I'm not even going to worry if I make a mistake. I make mistakes. I'm human. And sometimes people laugh at my mistakes. And sometimes they'll even talk about my mistakes. But do you know what? No matter how hard I dance, some people are never going to clap. I'll never stop dancing. And the ones that won't clap, they're the reason I'll never stop dancing. Because my dream and my mission and my vision is so much bigger than opinions of other people. I know what it's going to say when I go down and they open this little black box. I know what my mission is. It's not going to be easy. There is a mountain. I do have to get over the mountain. And man, when you're at the bottom of the mountain and you're looking up, it's scary. It's hard. It's almost sometimes like, have you ever heard of the word apathy? When you just say, I don't even care anymore. I'm just so over it all. I'm just done. Have any of you ever felt that? Apathy, where you're just done. You just don't give a shit at all. You're so over it. I went to a Most Powerful Women event with my friend Vanessa in 2018. And it was my wedding anniversary. Her and I actually have the same wedding anniversary, April 10th. Crazy thing is, both of our husbands are Star Wars fans. Like, I don't know who has the most, but yesterday our entire staff was here. And when they walked in Dave's office and there was like a Lego of the entire spaceship and like autographed this and Star Wars that, like, it's insane how much Star Wars this guy has. He's just got Yoda and Darth Vader, everything. Well, my friend Vanessa, her husband is the same way. I actually was in Salt Lake City one night for depositions. I was in a lawsuit that was horrible. And I was actually rooming with Patty Gardner, who's here with me this weekend, working, helping us put together 315 cruise bags for 315 people we're taking on a free cruise next month. But in 2018, Patty and I were sharing a room. We actually slept in the same bed. We had to. We had lost everything. We were fighting for our livelihood. We were playing the blame game. We were trying to be right. We were trying to stand up for what was right. And that night, I will never forget, the night before depositions, I got a call from my friend Vanessa. And her husband was a police officer in San Diego. And he had been targeted to be killed. And they hit him on his motorcycle, ran over him. He was on life support in the hospital. And that night, we all went to the hospital after meeting our attorneys. We were low vibration, mad, angry, pissed. It's not fair. We're wasting all our money on attorney fees. They're trying to stop us, blah, 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 blah. It was a terrible chapter, but it wasn't the whole book. I remember building a friendship with Vanessa over her husband's hospital bed, sitting there with her. And all of a sudden, the lawsuit didn't matter. All of a sudden, the haters didn't matter. All of a sudden, even the income that was owed to us didn't matter. I was thinking about how short life is. And a couple of years later, she asked me to go to this Most Powerful Women event. Now, I was in that event, guys, and I was sitting in a room with the very people who had hurt me so bad. I actually was shedding a tear listening to a keynote speaker talk about losing their son to suicide. I will never forget it. And as I was sitting there crying my eyes out, I looked to the end of the table, and the very person that had hurt me the most and destroyed everything I had built for a decade was giggling, looking at me cry. Now, I'm not telling you this to play a victim card. I'm telling you this to say, when Dave's mom was the sickest and we went to an energy doctor to try and talk about her cancer and try and talk about getting an alkaline environment and try and talk about how to release things and surrender things, I had completely forgotten about this woman. Like, we made a rule in our house. Her name was not allowed, and she was dead to us because I forgave her, but I couldn't keep stewing about the pain. I couldn't keep talking about how wrong it was and how much it hurt and how unfair it was and millions of dollars and 4 years of battle and blah, 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 blah. Nobody cared. If I was telling you about it, most of you wouldn't care and 50% wouldn't care. And I think they say the other 95% are just glad it's happening to you and not them. But I didn't know that then. I was pissed. I was angry. I was resentful. And what happened was I stayed stuck. And I kept having to relearn the lesson over and over and over again until I could forgive my dad, forgive the bad business decisions that I made, forgive the ex relationship that I had, forgive the banker that took the car, forgive the neighbor that said the mean things, forgive the person that made the post, shared a video that went viral, bullied my children. You know, you want to see a real non-Jesus side of someone? Bully their children. Oh my gosh, you'll see some ugly. And I have that ugly side in me. We all do, because we're human. When you truly have God in your life, whatever that means to you, and you ask yourself, That's God. That's not God. God is love. God is simply love. God is forgiveness, including forgiving yourself. It's not some person up in the clouds, in my opinion. It's inside of you, every one of you, from the day that you are born. Where do we find God? Oh, I'm waiting on a sign. I wish he would just show up. How does he let this happen to me? No, you got to look within, because the mountain is you. It's you. It's nobody else. It's you. And at that event, I was so low. I was so angry. I was so over this industry of direct sales. I associated it with mean women, bullies, narcissists, egos, greed, and somebody on stage talking about how they just flew in first class and they had their Lexus and their private jet. And my belief was people like that are bad. My belief was money makes people ugly. My belief was direct sales is the devil. My belief was social media destroys people, because it does. And so I just put myself in a little bubble wrap of Jesus and went and sat in my little corner where I could be safe for a lot of years. And when I came home from that event, I remember Dave picked me up and he looked at me and he said, "So how was the event? Happy anniversary." And I said, "It was okay." And I remember he said to me, "Wait, you didn't like it?" And I said, "I don't think direct sales is really for me." And he was like, "Really?" And I said, "Nope, I don't think it's for me." And he said, "Why do you say that?" And I said, "I don't know. Like, I wanted to puke just listening to, there wasn't one person that could strike a chord with me all weekend. That's apathy. That's when you just don't care. I remember I was in my room getting ready to go down to the event, and I was in a company. And I remember Dave and I had majority of the volume in that company, but I was just kind of there. I wasn't like all in. I was self-sabotaging. And I remember that day, my husband Dave was supposed to be doing a training call. And it was just reaffirming to me everything that I already believed. Dave was supposed to be doing a training call, and he was trying to get excited to get on the training call. And our team was doing good because we've always had a team. And one of the things that happened, the president had called Dave and said, "We're at 700,000 in volume. If we can just get the company to about 1 million, we would be good." And I remember Dave saying, "What can I do to help?" And we were 350 of it. We weren't a very big team. It was a new thing we were doing. And that morning, they came on a big training to recognize this new rank, thinking that would motivate Dave. That someone had hit this goal and it was 1 million in sales. And little did they know, Dave knew the day before, nobody was at 1 million in sales. We were neck and neck. It was 350, and the company was at 700. And I'm telling you guys, that was the day that we lost belief, because this industry and social media and who's doing what and the lies about things and the it was just so fake that Dave was like, "I don't ever want to do it again either." And we gave up. And that was 2018. And it took about 7 or 8 years to really grow and learn that the industry isn't bad. People aren't even bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. We took that personally. We expected us in other people. All of your disappointments are because of expectations. Every single one of them. Who came to Christmas? What did they bring? How did they act? What did they say? What did they do? It's New Year's. What did you set as your goal? What did your spouse set as a goal? What did your kids say as a goal? What did your team say they were going to do? Okay, your disappointments always come back to your expectations. And so, who's the common denominator here in success and happiness, or disappointment and discouragement? Who's the common denominator? The mountain is you. The mountain is you. And I hate that saying, if it is to be, it's up to me. But apathy, if you look it up on vibrational scales, every emotion attacks every organ in your body. Every emotion you feel, every thought you have sends a signal that says, make her muscle spaz, make her heart go faster, make her brain go slower, make her stomach create some acid, make her bowels loose and have diarrhea, make her have a rash all over her face. Have you guys not ever had this happen? I never even thought about it. But our brain, our thoughts, our vibrational being, every cell in our body operates at the level of our thoughts and our emotions. And watching Dave's mom die such a painful way with so much suffering. I used to have people say, if you want your kids to never end up in prison, take them there on a tour when they're little kids. Well, if you want to never suffer and struggle and have a horrible disease like that, watch someone that's struggling with it and then see what happens and then go study what makes it happen. It will scare the crap out of you. Do you know that every single one of us has cancer cells in our body? I didn't know that until this week. Did you know that those cancer cells explode when your immune system is compromised? They actually grow when you're at a very low vibration, stress, pain, anger, fear, resentment, guilt, apathy, when you just give up and you don't care. So if you knew that, yes, Tracy, strong negative emotion literally shuts your legs down. True story. I was walking through our bedroom one day and I got a text. I fell on the floor. Dave thought I was having a seizure. He took me to the emergency room. There was this horrible pain in my lower back, all down my leg. Nothing was wrong with me. It was a situation, unresolved conflict that I was trying to fix. I was in Arizona one day with Chance, went to pick up the children from daycare. It was a rough time for all of them. And when we got there to the daycare and I got out to meet the babysitter, I could not walk. I am here to tell you guys, it is not worth your health. The mountain is you. You've got to let go and let them and forgive and love. And if people don't like the way you're dancing, let them go dance their own way. It's not up to you to tell them that they're right or wrong. Every single one of us has a purpose on this planet, and you need to step into yours. The Mountain is You. I have the book here. It's by Brianna Wiest. It's very worn out, like an old Bible. My kids are always my biggest inspiration. Chance was reading it yesterday, reading it out loud to me in the morning when 100 million things were going on and our staff was here. Boxes were arriving, babysitters, tons of food. I mean, it was a riot happening, right? And Chance was like, Mom, read this page. If you try to fix the problem on the surface, you will always come up against a wall. This is because you're trying to rip off a Band-Aid before you have the strategy to heal the wound. Dang, that stings, doesn't it? Self-sabotage is one of the first signs that your inner narrative is outdated. It's limiting or simply incorrect. I want you guys to think about this. One day, I thought I would never get married, never have kids, never be successful. And just like that, like bamboo season, I called off a horrible relationship engagement. Patty and Jenna, they work for us. They literally run things at Frequence. They had no idea Dave and I were both engaged, called off an engagement, and ran away with a rodeo cowboy to Wyoming. I'm like, how do you not know that? That's the very first chapter of my book. How many of you have never read the book, No Guts, No Story? Well, that is true. That is how it all started. Just having to go away and heal. Your life is defined not only by what you think about it, but also what you think about yourself. Your self-concept is an idea that you have spent your entire life building. You're the one that's doing it. What your parents believed, what your peers thought, what became self-evident through your personal experiences. Your self-image is so hard to adjust because your brain keeps confirming the bias, and it works to it just keep doing this pre-existing condition and belief about yourself. But when we self-sabotage, it's because we have a negative association. This is the most important thing I'm going to say on this entire call. Between the goal we aspire to achieve and the person that you believe does that kind of a thing. When we self-sabotage, it is only because we aspire to do something that we really, really want. But we compare, we look around and we say, I'm never going to be that girl that goes to church and doesn't sin and gets married and has a family and lives a perfect little life with I used to make fun of the little white picket fence. You know why? Because I thought I would never have one. Then I got a big ass picket fence and it was vinyl. It was 10 grand just for the white fence. And I was like, how did I end up with a vinyl fence when vinyl fence in 1994, you guys, was like wrought iron gates are today? I'm here to tell you, I self-sabotaged over and over and over again. Patrick from Hawaii. Patrick, what do you call it when you do the Hawaiian ritual that is, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry? What do we call that? You guys got to go Google it because you all need to do it. I'm not from Hawaii, but I should be because I absolutely, it's like awapui, akawapui something. I don't know how you say it. I don't know. I'm butchering it up. That's the most important thing. When we self-sabotage, it is because we have a negative association with where we want to be and the person we think we have to be in order to get that. If your issue is that you want to be financially stable, and yet you keep ruining every effort to make money, you keep spending every time that you go back to that same habit, it's your concept of money. Thank you, Kim. And if your parents didn't manage their finances, or you never had a relationship in your family that stayed together, they were always arguing and fighting, there was always drama. That's just how you feel loved. You got to start some drama and some gossip, get in a fight, be the one to call with the tea, if you will. That is so freaking toxic. Many people who struggle financially will justify it by someone that did them wrong and how terrible it was, or rich people are all bad. That was me before I was rich. You got to change your thoughts. You got to change your beliefs. Your anxiety around the issue that you're self-sabotaging is actually a reflection of your own self-limiting belief. So maybe you associate being healthy with people that can't eat anything good, or the parent that was perfectly healthy, like Dave's mom. Nobody took more nutrition than her. Oh my gosh, she wrote the book on it. She was with us in nutrition for 30 years. She passed away 2.5 years ago. I saw a guy that used to run 5 miles every morning just fall over with a heart attack. That doesn't mean that people who are healthy all die anyway. You don't always know what's the underlying thing in the little black box. And I think the most important thing is our thoughts. When you change your thoughts, you truly change your life. And to truly heal, you got to change the way you think. Do you want to do better in life? Do you truly want to accomplish some things? Are you not being your authentic self, but you want to be? That mountain is you. The common denominator is you. And the sooner you have a conscious, you make a decision that you're going to check yourself. You're going to check your self-limiting beliefs. You're going to check, does that feel good or does that not feel good? Why am I thinking that way? I saw this thing and it said, sometimes we think that we're a pessimist, but we're not. Sometimes we have to look at the reality. Like I used to always just find the good, be positive, find the good, wound up losing a lot of money, trusting a lot of people, making a lot of poor decisions because I didn't stop to self-evaluate and say, am I doing the right thing? Take full accountability. It's not okay to constantly be stressed and unhappy. I wouldn't want you to be in a relationship with me if you didn't love me. I wouldn't want you to be in my company if it wasn't in alignment with you. I would love you. I would bless and release and say, I know there was a reason you came into my life, but I'm not going to go tear you down if you want to go do something else. That's what I saw women do to me. There is enough oxygen in the world for all of us to breathe. And let me tell you guys something. There is just as much money as there is oxygen. And money flows where energy goes. Your energy is everything. Do good. Do better. The greatest act of self-love is to no longer accept a life that you are unhappy with. And don't worry about if it hurts somebody's feelings or if they don't agree with you. You need to have excitement in your life, not apathy. I will never be that low again. I will never say, I just give up, I'm burned out, and I don't care. I found something that I was passionate about. I made moves. I told my authentic story. I got all my excuses out of the way and burned the ships. Sold everything to be all in with one thing. And guess what happens when you have definiteness of purpose? When you move, God will move. You need to get your excitement up. You need to dream big. You need to get yourself out of the way. You need to work harder on yourself than you do any business. And let me tell you, when you step into your greatness, then and only then will you know how powerful you are. I love you. I appreciate you tuning in. Do me one big favor. Drop in the comments because I have to know, what was your takeaway from today's episode? And if you would do me a huge favor, share this on your wall. I'm going to be giving away a copy of No Guts, No Story, the book that I wrote 20 years ago, and also one of Dave's Thinking Cure books, which he wrote in 2008. I'll be posting the winners later today, but you must comment and share in order to get in the drawing. And I hope that you guys have an amazing week. I'll see you next Saturday, same place, same time. No Guts, No Story. Have a great day, everyone.